Hello, I'm Donald Leggett and welcome to this edition of Share Views, brought to you by London South East. Our guest today is Ian McDonough, CEO at AIM-listed tech business Blackbird, and we'll be looking at their new editing platform which they believe is revolutionising the way video is edited. Welcome Ian, it's a real pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
For those who are not familiar with Blackbird, let's start by asking you who are Blackbirds and tell us about your editing technology.
So Blackbird actually was previously Forbidden Technologies PLC. We recently changed the name and named it after the software that we create, which is Blackbird. At the very heart of the software, we have a codec, a way of watching video on the internet that solves the problems of video in the cloud. It allows you to very easily access video, in fact, instantaneously access video, to manipulate video and view it from literally anywhere. And as probably most people will know, when you try and send video around on the internet, whether it's on your phone or on a laptop, it's generally quite slow.
It's not great.
It's often very expensive.
Experience.
Yeah, so we've solved that problem.
So that's the holy grail of video content, isn't it?
Potentially. Where we've started with the business is really to show how good the codec is to allow people to edit video in the cloud. So we've built around this codec a fantastic browser-based, sophisticated editing suite that will allow professional companies, B2B companies, to edit video remotely, professionally, in a very flexible way.
So paint a picture for me. What's the size of the cloud editing market, and who are your potential customers out there?
So last year, 75% of traffic on the internet was video, and that's growing. By 2022, they say it's going to be over 80%, and anyone that's using video on the internet is a potential customer of ours. But I've got to really focus the business.
That's a little bit of a broad definition, though, if I may say, Ian. So who are your cloud customers, and what size is that market? Not the overall market for video.
Yeah, so the cloud customer, so where I focus the business, because we could, I mean, anyone can use the software. What I focus the business is where we have the most USPs, where we've got unique selling points, and we are the fastest editor in the world. So the content that needs the content quickly is sport and news primarily. So that's where we're really focused as a team right now. We've won some recent deals in sport. The NRL, which is the National Rugby League in Australia, is now a customer of ours from about a month ago. Peloton, who've taken the Amazon version of the gym, so taking the gym into your home. They use a huge screen on the front of each spin bike to display video content, and all that content is cut on Blackbird. So they charge £40 a month for their service, their online service, 4 times what Netflix charges, and everything's on Blackbird. So that's how it's really revolutionising how they can get content from a spin studio in New York or in London to the internet and to people's homes.
So who are you competing against? Do you see yourself as competing at the high end against Avid, or do you compete on speed and fast turnaround, more news and sport?
How we position it is that if you have a very sophisticated tool like an Avid, which is very heavy duty, bespoke hardware with, has to be in an edit bay, we add flexibility to that. And if you look at the more basic tools at one end of the market where they're doing very sports turnaround, the tool sets are generally quite simple. They can cut and edit out. There's things like Grabio or Telio at that end of the market. We're in the middle where you have highly professional content tool sets, very, very quick and yet very flexible. So that's where we're in the middle. There's not a lot of competition. In fact, we think we're the only ones.
So you see yourself as a little bit of both. You can do pre-production in terms of an Avid suite, but you're way the fastest in terms of sport and news.
We grew up in the post industry, so most post houses in London have Blackbird within them. In those days when we were just purely in post, we were chasing the Avid tool sets and making sure that we were almost as professional as them. So we've got that heritage. If you look at the fact that we are cloud-based, it means we're so much more than that for other kinds of content. And the majority of content is not cut for it's like Game of Thrones or BBC drama. Most content is very quick turnaround, sports and news and social media content that needs to go to the web very quickly, and that's where we play.
And how long have you been with the business, Ian?
I've been there just over 18 months. My background is in running TV networks primarily, so I was at Turner, I was at BBC Worldwide. I was at A&E Networks as well. So yeah, I've had a fairly long history in the media industry. I know a lot of people, which is very helpful.
And do you see yourself as having slightly refocused the business?
Absolutely. I mean, we've really focused on moving out of post and into where there's high value content like sports and news, where we had a lot of differentiation, and focused the team around that. So we're very much in the live sector now. We haven't left the post area. We've simplified that model so that the post houses now sell Blackbird on our behalf. But my direct sales team are really focused on the high value content.
Okay, and what can we expect coming up? I noticed that deals. You're doing deals.
Yep.
You've got Dawn Airy on board. I presume you've got a pretty good contacts book. She's got a pretty good contacts book.
Indeed.
So I can see there's a bit of the synergies are beginning to happen here.
Dawn is a tremendous addition to our board. Dawn, as well as being an extremely nice person, she is also very well connected and very commercially savvy. So I really would take her as a fantastic mentor on the board. She also just knows just about everybody in media and in technology, so it's fantastic.
And plus, if Dawn Airy thinks it's a good idea, it probably is a good idea.
I would think so, yes. It's a very good endorsement for us as a company.
It's a good endorsement, isn't it? Okay. You've been around for a long time. Who are your investors and backers?
So our investors, we have a number of city investors. In fact, we did a large raise last year, in June last year, and most of the investors that backed us previously backed their corner. So we've got...
And how much money did you raise then?
We raised £6 million.
And what was that spent on?
And that's mainly, that's spent on making sure that our software is protected, so we're patent protected globally. Making sure that we can now support larger deals. So one deal we've just done in the last couple of weeks was with A&E Networks in New York. A&E owned History Channel, Lifetime, Viceland, etc. They're a really big outfit. They're owned by Disney and Hearst together as a joint venture. And they've just taken on Blackbird as an enterprise deployment across their two main sites in New York and Stamford, Connecticut. So they will be they'll be putting 4,000 hours of content into the Blackbird codec at any point in time, where around 200 users will be able to access that content from anywhere. And that might be for viewing, for clipping, for full editing, for annotating, for reviewing, pretty much whatever they want to do.
So you're the backbone of their system?
We will be a layer of visibility across all their suites. So they're an Avid house, so they have a number of Avids for all that kind of finishing and high-end stuff, but we'll be a level of visibility right across that to make all that content visible.
So this is exactly the kind of place that you would hope to be?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a real focus on the US. Most of our bigger wins in the last year or so has been from the US, Peloton, with A&E Networks. Really big for us. So yeah, that's where it's heading. I think coming up, I think more sports as well. That's where.
Yes, exactly. If those are your clients of the present, who are your clients of the future?
So when you look at the sport industry, it's quite interesting because you've got now, with the advent of social media and the internet and the fact that people just want to see more clips and more sports, every single franchise now is a production house. So whether you're a Premier League team or whether you're a NRL team or NFL team, everybody not only wants to take the main broadcasters in the feeds, they all want to produce their own clips around their own teams as well. So pretty much any of those companies are potential customers for us.
Okay, and you've just raised £6 million. So what does your balance sheet look like at the moment?
Well, we don't have any debt. That's key. As we've just raised the money. We don't have huge intangible assets. We've got a. It's basically there as a piece of software that can be very easily leveraged. The beauty of software is once it's built and it's got it positioned correctly in a very large market, it should be there to, the sky's the limit, really.
Okay. So presumably you're here today to speak to retail investors. That's our
Yes.
audience. What's the investment pitch to them? Why should they be investing in Blackbird shares? Why are they going to make money out of Blackbird?
Our company's been building this incredible piece of software for a while. It's now there, it's now ready, and the market has moved towards the cloud dramatically. So there's a lot more trust in the cloud now, there's a lot more need for speed, and that's where Blackbird really plays. So yeah, you're right, the video industry is extremely big, and we don't have to tackle all of it today. But really, the simplicity of the tool in terms of how easy it is to learn, the sophistication of Blackbird Forte as well, plus the speed and flexibility, it's a huge market. So I think that with a fixed cost base, we've got a long way to go.
And the fact that the cloud's time has come, people now actually trust the cloud, whereas 5 years ago, perhaps that might have been a little bit more dubious at a professional level.
Absolutely, and Blackbird is also very secure because you can't read Blackbird, the technology, the software, on anything but another Blackbird player. We know exactly who is watching Blackbird at any point in time. So it is very secure. No one's going to be able to download it and pirate the content. So.
Okay. So my final is going to be news flow. What can we expect from Blackbird in the next few months, the next year? What are the points, the kicker points, which are going to boost the share price, in other words?
Well, we're an international business. I mean, we're based in London, but we have teams in the US, and we can sell our content in the cloud. So that's exciting. You'll start to see, I think, more US deals. You'll be able to see more international deals. Much more probably just focused on sport and news, which is where we have the USPs, as I mentioned.
Which is a sweet point.
Yeah, it's really a sweet point. It's where we we find most of our customers think we are, as you say, the holy grail. I mean, how can you have this incredible piece of software that can do so much to such a high quality and so quickly? So yeah, that's where we'll see it.
That was Ian McDonough, CEO at Blackbird. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Ian. That was absolutely fascinating. And for more interviews like this one, please subscribe to the London South East YouTube channel. Thank you very much indeed for watching.